What's up, everybody? My name is Desiree Lacap, aka Lacapture, and you're watching Up and Coming.
What inspired you to start your filmmaking journey, and how did you transition from being a video creator to a DP?
Ooh, okay. What started my filmmaking journey was I was always the kid with the camera in middle school. I just never thought I'd be going into it as a full-time career just because I grew up in a very Filipino traditional household. So I tried to go into the medical field to please them. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm gonna try. But after years in college, dude, I was like, I'm pretty bored in statistics. None of this is speaking to my soul. And I was like, okay, let me try to tap in with a camera. I wasn't looking at it as filmmaking yet, right? It was videography. I was like grabbing my homies and I was like, let's do music videos. You do music. Let me just shoot it for you. Point and shoot. I really don't know what I'm doing, but we're going to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
And then I would do documentaries on people that I found like their life pretty interesting. And even from the get, it was just me creating opportunities for myself. That's kind of what got me into it, just because I feel like I've always been this creative, like more right side, right? It's right side.
Yeah, right side is
Creative,
I think
like just
creative.
way more right side. Yeah, I always found myself in that, and I just never allowed myself to go into it until like 2017-ish, 2018. So I actually started with falling in love with the post-production process. So I was an editor through and through. Still am. Like that's how I fell in love with it
Hmm.
and introduced to filmmaking. So because of that, I was sitting, not even using Premiere yet. I was using One True Media back then. I was like, ooh, what could I do with this? Like I
Right.
just captured some random footage. I'm gonna figure it out in post-production and I'm gonna make something so dope out of it.
Hmm.
So after probably 2 to 3 years as an editor, I started to develop this storytelling mindset along with the visual aspect of it, right? And then just naturally, I started to visually see my ideas so clearly in
Hmm.
my head. And I started to apply everything that I saw with cinematography. And then even learning on YouTube of like how other DPs do it and watching other people just bring this vision to life.
Hmm.
um, I always use this reference of like you could throw me in the middle of an alleyway with dumps and garbage and I can make something so beautiful out of it. Just the way it's framed up, not even with lighting either, just the use of natural lighting.
Hmm.
And then it was just steps to it, right? Like as a cinematographer, just learning how to light up a subject or how to light up a scene and how much lighting plays a role in conveying emotion along with the way the camera moves and the lenses that you use. There's so much technical aspects to it.
Hmm.
So it's just step by step kind of learning. And I'll always love being an editor, but I really am putting it out there that now I'm a cinematographer because like I want to collaborate with other people as a cinematographer,
Hmm.
slowly transitioning out of editing. But I think it worked out for me though, because as I'm a cinematographer on set, I'm already editing it in my head, right? Like
Right.
not me particularly, but like, oh, we don't need this shot because it's not needed in the film, so we could sacrifice this for the sake of time. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's kind of my transition into cinematographer.
No, that's sick. I feel like a lot of people think they have to go through all the schooling or like watch all these videos and then get into it. But in seeing
Mhm.
your journey, because I just your story in particular is very like so real to me. I don't even know the right word to put it because I just remember seeing you when you were at like 20K and now you're at like 100, like over 100K doing like things with Rode mic, like Epidemic Sound. Like it's just
Mhm.
so night and day from when I first started following you to now. So now I'm like, oh, like you just got to get out there and do it. I think there's not enough textbook studying you can do. So it is inspiring to see you
Mhm.
kind of take the audience on your journey and just be like, dude, like I effed up on a shoot. Like, so like let's keep it rolling. So like,
Yeah.
do you think that people should be more afraid of failing or just getting into the mindset like
Mm.
I'm gonna fail, so let me try to make something out of it? Basically, a perspective shift. Like, what was that like for you as a creator? Like, I didn't
Yes.
do it right.
Dude, it was tough in the beginning, right? Especially when I was figuring it out. Like, do I want to be an editor? What am I doing with my life? But I feel like once you start to get into this flow, not even creating every single day, but doing something for you, and then
Right.
understanding that you're detaching yourself from the outcome of what this video should look like.
Mhm.
Because regardless, it's gonna turn out great. You just have to, one, be your biggest fan. I'm always shouting that out because I know how it feels like to sit in imposter syndrome. And I've spoken about this before, that imposter syndrome is like your best friend. It's like tough love from your parents because in some households that's how love is shown, particularly how I grew up was like very tough love, but they just want the best for you. So
Right.
looking at imposter syndrome like that, and I think ultimately, yeah, just detaching yourself from what it should look like, because failure is growth. And I'd always look at that as whatever you don't do good this time, then apply it to your next project and do way better then. It's always stepping stones. You're laying a brick down and you're just building your whole house eventually day by day. And it's not an overnight thing. So just one, be your biggest fan. Two, look at failure as growth and to be better than the day before. That's kind of how my mindset works. And even if those thoughts come in, because we are human, right? I'm always reframing my mind and being like, oh, why is it that this doubt is coming in? Oh, nah, like I'm way too good for this. Because there are moments and days where I'm just like, like, why am I not where I'm supposed to be? Or like, oh, I could have done this better. But we're going to nitpick our own shit all the time, right? So it's like, why not reframe it and be our biggest fans and being like, oh, I made that mistake, but who cares? Because I'm going to do better next time.
That's a vibe, and I get that. Like, from that, on that same sentiment, what has been the biggest challenge? Because I see you starting to work more with team members, people outside of your organization. Maybe it's not your friends anymore, but actual people that are like gaffers, sound design. What was that
Yeah.
transition from being everyone on the crew to now like delegating? Okay, they know what they're doing. Like, let me chill because I just need a DP.
Yo, I love that you asked this question because this is something I am working on. It's having to fall back and let people do what they do, right? Because
Mm,
you're right. Like producing my own content, I'm the writer, I'm the producer, I'm the director, DP, editor, like I'm everything. But like
right.
learning how to fall back and even delegate other people and trust that they know what they're doing is the biggest thing that I'm learning right now because it is a huge transition, right? It's like,
Mm,
oh, like putting aside your ego and being like, no, like they know what they're doing. Let me learn from them as
mm,
well because we all have things to bounce off of each other from and like learn. So I'm just in that mindset where it's like, okay, let me fall back, shut my ego up, and just let them do their thing because they know what they're doing. And two, I get to learn. So it's a win-win at the end of the day. It's not like oh, like I'm better than you type shit. Like, nah, it's if that's your mindset going into this industry, you're gonna fail. So you always
exactly.
have to be open to feedback, criticism, ideas, especially because we're collaborating. So yeah, it's just having to fall back is what I'm learning,
Mm.
and trusting other people.
No, that's facts. I mean, I feel like it's the hardest when you've always been the one that's doing everything. Where it's like, I know I
Yeah.
particularly would like set my shots up like this, so like maybe you should, but then it turns out exactly how you expected, and it really doesn't matter. I think in the way that it gets done, as long as it your vision is shown, that's
Mhm.
butter. So
Yeah.
with the partnerships, I have seen like that's just sick. Like other like pieces of equipment that we use are like Desiree. Like, come on. Like tell people why I should get a Rode mic. Tell people why I should be on this software. Adobe Max, bro, you spoke at Adobe Max last year. I mean, the minute you
Yeah.
dropped that announcement, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the perfect person to have on y'all panel. And I
Oh
swear,
my
I tried to
God.
tune in. I think I got the link wrong, and I was just like, whatever, it's fine. I'll see something later online. The point is, for creators that have been creating content, maybe they have a little bit of traction. What is your recommendation for letting those big brands kind of see their work? Did you come to them? Did they come to you? Like, what did that process look like?
I think I mean, all of the brands have come to me, and I'm only saying that because it's like, this is a good example, especially for people who want brands to reach out to you, right? Like use their products and tag them.
Mm-hmm,
And I personally, I think that's the way that I went as well.
mm-hmm.
That's a good question. I think it's just letting go of trying too hard to want brands to reach out
That
to me.
part.
I feel like only a percentage will understand this, right? Like you have to, and you probably understand this because your content with the podcast of, is it Party of One?
Yes,
You definitely understand this mindset of like, you have to detach yourself from things that you want, right? Like ask and it is given, but you have to let go of it.
right.
I think a lot of people, which isn't a bad thing, like do your outreach. Like I do recommend that. Like email people, outreach, but don't get discouraged when people say no or when they don't respond because as you continue to build your profile, as you create more, then brands are going to start reaching out to you and recognizing what you could do for them. Because at the same time, it is creative, but it's like, what can you bring them? Because a lot of brands are looking for in, like high engagement, and if you could get them, if you get your audience to buy their product, they're also looking for does your audience trust you enough,
Right.
right? Like because the brands are going to you to sell their product to your audience. So
Mm.
it's just a lot of those things that factor into it and that I'm honestly still learning. So
No, that's true. And even on the podcast stuff, like I started that just like I just need something to do. I need something to separate me from at the time a job I was doing that was not creative at all. And I needed that creative outlet. And I was like, I'll just start a podcast. Like I don't really care where it goes. It's just to help me out on my lighting, on my technique, my audio, things that I was just like
mhm.
really sucky with. And then I told myself, I think like a couple weeks into starting it, I was like, BetterHelp would be like a great person to partner with because it just talks about mental health. Like I'm a big advocacy for making sure like as a creative too, because you're so hard on yourself and then people see your work
Yeah.
and then you get those kind of thoughts sometimes and you're like, oh, and
Mhm.
not even thinking about it. I think I wasn't even like 20 or 30K deep for followers wise. And BetterHelp reached out to me. And I was like, dude, I said that if I got this person, like I would like continue
Yo,
doing this. And it wasn't like I had to get them and I'd never make contact again. It was just like I really saw this vision for
confirmation.
myself. Yeah, like you
Yeah.
have to see it before anyone else that's following you sees it. And I think you
Oh,
are the epitome of that. Literally, you the way that you speak on your social, like no cap, no ass kiss, like straight fact. You are telling people believe in yourself, but also put in the work. Like, don't just think you can put this on a vision board and like it'll happen tomorrow. Like people have probably not even
yeah.
seen 80% of what you do in the background, only the 20% you're posting
Mhm.
online. And I think that is so beautiful as a creative because like you don't just show us the good. You're like, dude, this is what's happening in today's like you're like the short film you're creating right now. I can't wait to see that. Your reference shot
Yeah.
post. I was like, if y'all don't know, y'all gotta follow them. What is the exact title? Because I feel like I don't. It's like is it
It's DeVille.
Deville?
Yeah.
Yo,
DeVille movie. Follow that on Instagram. It's about to be lit. It's a
dude,
DeVille summer, man.
I am so pumped to see that. I don't even know. I didn't read any of the context of what it was like. I just saw the shots and I'm like,
Nobody
for
knows,
that.
but it's dope.
Like,
Mhm.
I think it's like a throwback, which that already had me hooked. And I was like, yeah, I'm there. I'm there.
Yep, we're
I'm
trying
there.
to bring the audience to this nostalgic era.
I know, seriously, like all I love is nostalgia. Like I feel like we're all chasing this early 2000s feeling that I think we'll never experience because we're in like the world of
Yeah.
AI now. So I feel that I'm doing a little coming of age thing too, just to feel something again, low key.
What? No, that's so exciting.
No, I'm
Oh,
pumped.
heck
I'm
yeah.
pumped. What advice would you give to people who are starting their content creation journey and want to build a successful career in this field?
Well, my advice to anybody who wants to start with content creating would be to this is the one thing that comes up is like motivation will get you started, but determination will keep you going. Because sometimes there's going to be days where you don't feel like creating. Maybe one day you wrote a whole list because your creative juices were flowing and you're like, ooh, I have 100 ideas. I'm going to get this knocked out in a week. And then the next day you're like, I don't feel like doing it. And that is okay. You got to give yourself grace through this content creating journey. But when you are in the creative flows, try to stay consistent. And again, detach yourself from the outcome or what the shot's supposed to look like or what it's supposed to edit. Just post it. Do it, post it, and then you're going to find your rhythm and your flow the more you do it. But again, give yourself grace through this process because it's so easy to put ourselves down when one, you don't get the engagement or the comments or the likes. And that is another thing. Let go of that shit. Do it for you
Seriously.
and solely for you, and everything will tenfold. But you also have to be patient with the process.
Mm.
These are all things that I wish I knew when I first started, or someone told me, is that like it's a lifelong thing. It's not overnight, maybe for some people, but for most it's not. But yeah, and also I would have to say, a lot of content nowadays is like pre-planned, script your stuff, which is valid. It really is, depending on the type of content. But even some days when you just want to pick up the camera for fun, shoot something and put it in post, that's when my best ideas come out. When I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm feeling creative today. I'm gonna just go grab my camera, film. And that's solely what Project 30 was about when I did that a few months back. Was just for me to have fun and purely have fun, because a lot of people forget to have fun when they're creating because they're so
Yeah.
focused on the outcome and who's gonna see it and how many comments they're gonna get. So that's probably what I would have to say if you want to start content, is just do it. Let go, create, have fun, and do it for you.
Yeah. That I don't think you could have said it better. Last question for you, and then we're all set.
Man,
Um, if you could start your filmmaking journey all over again, what would you do differently?
absolutely nothing. I wouldn't do anything different. And I actually thought about this 2 days ago, because there are moments, the days where imposter syndrome could kick in and be like, I feel like I could be even further with my career, blah, blah, blah. But I wouldn't change a damn thing about my journey, because every single thing has led me up to where I'm at today, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, like creatively. So yeah, I think it's pretty cliche to say, but I wouldn't change a damn thing.
I know that's right. Everything's brought you to this moment. So that I feel like that's the only right answer. Everything happened the way it was supposed to. Perfect. Thank you, dude. Okay.
I'm
Um,
so excited for you, yo.
thank you. I appreciate that, man. I'm just trying different things
Man.
out. I don't really know what I'm doing right now. I think I had a really big run. Like after I saw your Project 30, I was like, I just need to do it. Like I just need to stop thinking about the content and just
Yeah.
create every day, even if if some like if something messes up with my camera or I don't have the right audio, I can pull out my iPhone and just do a little voiceover later. Like I would think in that moment,
Yeah.
you taught me in your Project 30 to learn how to pivot. And I was
Mhm.
like, oh, okay, like if it doesn't work out, here's what we need to say. And I think I just get all these weird things from creators that I watch where I'm like, I guess it doesn't always have to be this big high production. Like sometimes I can just show people like what the vibe is. And so I love learning from other creators that are just being super authentic with their work.
Mhm. Dude, heck yeah. And shit, you got it, man. Like I definitely feel it. That's how I've been like these past few months, even where I'm I took a break. And that was what I was afraid of, taking a break, is like the amount of effort I have to do to get back into it. But
Yeah,
like it's necessary, because now it's just like more inspired than ever. But yeah, I definitely feel it. It's easier said than done for sure.
it is. It is. All I have left to say is to make sure that you just keep your mental health at top tier cream of the crop because I have, I'm sure as much as you have felt the burnout phase where it's like, dang, like, am I really like doing what I'm doing? Like all these people that just, they believe in
Yeah.
me, but then I don't really believe in myself today. But then tomorrow you feel like you're on top of the world. Like, so that's why I'm like, people need to hear the real, not just the, I work at Nike, I work at Apple. And I think those things are great. Like, I don't take that away from anybody, any creator that's doing stuff like that. But I think it's
Hmm.
the people that are like getting out there, coming together with friends, coming together with other creatives, and like really just trying to do what to do. Some people may not even want to make a name for themselves, but just want to create. And I think that's also
Yeah.
very beautiful.
Yeah, I think there's this thing I saw where it was just like, I don't want to be famous. I just want to be seen.
I need that on a tat. I need that somewhere on my body.
Bruh, for real. Because it's like, it's all about that. And you and I both know, like, our content is like very mental health heavy, because I'm open with being vulnerable to people, because people think it's an easy fucking journey. It's not. Like, I've been where I wanted to yeet my whole life out, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm
Yeah.
so vocal about my vulnerability, because I've been there. It's
Mm,
different. It's obviously like everybody goes through different things, but it's a similar thing of like, I thought I was trapped in the dark. Like, I
mhm.
thought there was no way out. But it's like, yo, if I gave up, I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
No, seriously. And sometimes you just need a couple days to step away because it can feel like you have to create because you have the audience now. But now it's like, and
Yeah.
not really now, but you just have people that are waiting for your next thing. And you just gotta
Yeah.
stay on your own path because it can get real dark really quick.
For real. And I think that's why just trusting yourself, walking by faith and trusting that like everything's happening exactly how it should.